Good evening, everyone. Treasure Troller here from the partially mask-wearing militant state of Michigan. So let's talk about Alone, Season 9, Episode 9. Some things are turning out the way I've always said they would, or how they've turned out in the past, and that's the ones that seem to do really well at the beginning. Once the weather changes, then it's panic mode. So we got 4 left. We got Adam, Kaylee, is it? I'm not sure. Kylie. I saw that advertisement for that other one coming up, and I think that's Callie. You know, the chick. And then we've got Juan Pablo and Jumanji. Kelly, is it? I can't remember anymore. So like I said, things happen. You know, Jumanji had everything going his way at the beginning of this show. Food, although probably wasn't getting enough he was still going hungry. He was still doing pretty good in the grouse area. And the weather changes, and now he's setting traps for birds. Yeah, that's going to work out well. but that will be the hero catch. If he does actually catch a bird with that will be the ultimate hero catch of any season. And then we have Juan Pablo, who I'm a bit disappointed in the dude. You know, he thought he was doing this Jedi mind trick where everyone else is starving and they're working to find food, and I'm just going to lay around. That was what that fat bastard did last year. That the most productive thing he was able to do was put a bone through his nose. So I'm a bit disappointed in that for a couple of reasons, but I also he worked for 50 days. As much as I dislike it, I guess you could also say he's playing to win, and he thinks that would be his best shot at winning. So I'm not going to be too overly critical of him, but trying to tank for the last 20 or 25 days is not, I don't think it's good. I think what happens in this show is these so-called experts have an idea of what they're going to do when they get there, and then they see someone like this, that should Juan Pablo actually win, the new strategy is, well, to get really fat and maybe do a little bit of hunting and fishing for the first 40 to 50 days, and then just tank the last 20. You know, that's going to be the new strategy. We heard it with Adam today with the well, nobody that's really won this has won it on small game. Well, that one dude ate mice for 30 days or whatever, so I disagree a little bit. We'll get to him in a second. Then we have the crazy aunt, who right from the beginning has struggled, has not really been all that productive. Maybe just putting up a bare minimum shelter is really saved on the energy and the calorie burn. She didn't catch any fish. She's like, well, fishing is out. Well, was it ever in with you? You couldn't roll cast, so I don't know how the hell you were how fishing was ever in. It was berry paste for the most part. But she's pretty much had it, of the 4 remaining, the toughest. And it just seems like if they've been in that routine since day one, it's just not that different at day 50 or day 52. It's just the same thing. And they just seem to do well towards the end. What's going to be hard for her, once stuff starts freezing over, it's going to be chopping ice to get water and just getting around. She's the oldest contestant there, and it's going to take its toll, but things have switched a little bit for her. Or at least the pack is coming back to her. The lead pack is coming back to her. And then we have Adam. I don't care what that guy says. I don't care about his newfound wilderness religion. I just that was a homesick tap out. That was a homesick tap out. I'm sure he rehearsed that speech for the cameraman for probably 2 days before they got there to give him his the speech of shame. Sounded too well rehearsed to me. I'm not sure that medical tap out is kind of a disgrace. I think I would rather see someone leave kicking and screaming. I'm not sure the Sam Elliott sound-alike, kind of the well gosh darn kind of thing. I'm not. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. But I really thought it was rather interesting. Well, he says no one's ever won this thing yet, eating small game. So we're gonna go out and we're gonna look for bear. And he probably spent 3 hours that day looking for bear, and then he was tapping out. So his big three-hour hunt. And I was also thinking, because at the beginning of this big hunt that he went on, he was complaining about how he couldn't get up the hill, how it used to be easy and now it's really difficult. And I was thinking, even if he did shoot a bear, he'd never be able to get it back to his camp. The only way he's going to get one is if one came through that impenetrable front door of his and landed on the fire and roasted itself. That would have been the only way he could have gotten a bear and processed it. But it kind of goes back to the same thing now that I guess I've always sort of thought, and it's now that Jumanji's in sort of a panic mode and he's now setting up snares. I don't understand why they aren't setting up snares. Really, all this passive food sources. If you set one snare a day, by now you'd have 50 snares. It's iced over right now, but you could have thrown a weighted line with a hook on it in the river and just let it sit there all day and gone back and checked on it. They could have easily done that. But now that the grouse seems to be gone, well, now I've got to set up snares. I don't know why they aren't setting up these snares. He was talking about hunting 5 hours a day, trudging through the woods 5 hours a day. Well, here's two things. You could have, for an hour of that time, or even 2 hours of that time, you could have set up some snares. But the one thing no one has done on this show yet, nobody, and this is what Adam could have done, and this is what Juan Pablo could be doing. I mean, if all he wants to do is tank, here's a good way to tank. I don't know why no one has set up ground blinds. why no one has set up ground blinds. I mean, Juan Pablo could set up, build a ground blind or two, and if all he's going to do is sit around and not do much of anything, walk out to the blind in the morning, you could just sit there. If nothing comes your way, it's no loss because you'd have been laying around in your tent anyways. Adam could have been doing the same thing. I don't know why these guys don't have ground blinds and hunt out of ground blinds. You're just, there's the type of game that they're hunting, especially, they just don't, continually stalking this stuff through that kind of thick underbrush is just not going to work. They could have snares set up and they could have a ground blind set up. They could spend time in the ground blind, not wasting any calories, not burning any calories. Spend the day there, go back to the tent at night. I don't know why the ground blind has never been used and why they don't set up snares earlier. I'll never understand that. It's just such a passive way. You could have set them up on your like on your path when you leave to go to the ground blind, or even if you're going to go out hunting. You have the snare set up along your path, so you're just walking past them anyways. I don't know why that hasn't been the case. So that's about it. That was a homesick tap out. Convince me I'm wrong. We got Jumanji. I think Jumanji's in a tailspin. And we have the crazy aunt who I think at the moment might have the advantage until the weather gets real bad, and then that's the great equalizer right there. Juan Pablo, the 20-day tank to success. I just hate to see, as much as I want to see him win, I hate to see him win that way, because then that's going to be the newfound strategy. I think if I was, I guess what I would do from now on, my strategy for the show would be to build my shelter in about 2 hours, go out and set some snares and build a couple of ground blinds, and then just tank for the 50 days, 50 or 60 days. Just sit in my ground blind and tank. That's going to be my strategy. So, with that, this is Treasure Troller saying aloha and good day.